Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of While We Walk. And nice to do this again. So I actually have been doing this for the past couple of days. On Saturday it was raining, but then the recording got screwed up. I did another one today, but that got screwed up as well. So I just decided, you know what? Forget the lapel mics. I'm just gonna do this speaking to the phone. So that's what I'll do with this one here. And so initially I was like, let's not do it. Let's do it another day. But I decided to go out because it's such a beautiful day today. Right now in New York, it's 60 degrees, above 60, like 64 or so. And everyone is outside right now. It's a beautiful day. And it would be a waste to kind of just stay at home at the apartment doing nothing. So I just made the decision to do another recording. Hopefully this one comes out clear, which I'm pretty confident it will because there's nothing attached to it. And so hopefully there isn't any mishaps going forward here. But yeah, so just to keep you updated, I did end up finally filing my taxes on Saturday. And I'm finally glad that's over with. I have some money coming back, so I'm really happy for that. And you know, when I went back, what I ended up doing today was doing some errands. I bought some burgers, so I'm gonna eat a hamburger, a cheeseburger that is, for this week, which I'm really looking forward to because I'm kind of getting sick and tired of the chicken. So I decided to just eat burgers for the week because I have to have a lot of cheese that I bought that's just staying there. So I just might as well just buy burgers and eat some cheeseburgers tonight. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead here, slow down my pace just a tad because there's no need to rush right now while I soak in the sun. But oh yeah, I want to mention that I'm not gonna post this on my trading channel going forward. There wasn't really much traction going forward on my trading channel in terms of this podcast. But the great news is I actually experimented with changing my title and then also changing my whatchamacallit, the what's that thing? I can't even think. The thumbnail. And straight up, I got over 50 views, which is amazing because before that I was averaging under 5 views. And all of a sudden, just making that one little switch, my click-through rate percentage went up through the roof. It's like 4 times more than normal. It just goes to show you that little optimizations in thumbnail and titles are huge in terms of, you know, building an audience. So I'm gonna kind of experiment with that. Obviously, I'm gonna keep on continuing to use that specific thumbnail as well as the order of the title. So instead of me writing like the date and then the profit or loss, what I did was I changed the title to put the profit right at the front and then put the date at the very end, because that way they see whether or not I made a profit or not, and it's like clear how much I made. And instead of just doing just one of the accounts, performance accounts, showing the profit and loss, I'm showing the profit and loss for the total of every single one of my performance accounts. And that, oh man, made a huge difference. I can't believe I got that many views. But now it's just a function of continuing on doing that, kind of tweaking and modifying my YouTube for my trading channel, and let's see where that takes me. So I know for a fact that thumbnails and titles are huge in regards to getting some viewership, to at least get people to click on it. Like even that one little optimization I made for the Lurch and Fuji podcast, before it was just a black screen, but now I put in just a simple title, and that already changed the click-through rate to around 13%, which is almost like a tenfold increase in the click-through rate. So that's, I mean, it just goes to show you, man, like these little optimizations make a big difference. So look to see more further optimizations going forward. But oh, what a beautiful day. What an absolute beautiful day. I know next week it's gonna be like around in the 50s, right around that range. I'm so looking forward to this week walking. I had to take off my sweatshirt because it was so hot. And yeah, it looks like today I'm going to break 28,000 steps for sure. Maybe close to 25, maybe even 30,000 steps. But yeah, man, everyone's out. Everyone's outside taking advantage of this weather right now. And yeah, I'm actually really excited seeing some improvement in the metrics of my channel there. So in other news, I was when I stopped by the crib the other day, I bought some what was it? Greek yogurt? Yeah, Greek yogurt at BJ's. And when I bought that, what I did was I put peanuts. I crushed the peanuts and then put it into the yogurt, in addition to a scoop of vanilla protein powder, and that was okay. But what I ended up doing today to break my fast is I put a cup of Greek yogurt and a scoop of vanilla protein powder, and then I had a like a protein bar that has 10 grams of protein. I kind of mixed it up in the food processor to crush it up, mix it all up together, and it was magical. It was really delicious. I'm really looking forward to eating that in that fashion going forward to break my fast. But yeah, what a beautiful day. What a beautiful day. Going forward, I'm not going to use a lapel mic. There's too many issues. The audio quality sucks, and that was just for a test, you know. So going forward, I'm just going to hold on to my phone and do it that way going forward. I tried using the Bluetooth earpiece, but it wasn't picking up my voice. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna record next to the phone, and that's what I'm gonna do going forward here. But yeah, I was initially intending on doing this for 30 minutes. It may be a little bit lower going forward. We'll see. It's only because, as I mentioned in the other podcasts, it's there's only so much you could talk about, and so I think 15-minute length would be a sufficient length, in my opinion. And so when you see it go lower than that, that's why. The other podcast that I posted up that was only 23 minutes. Initially, it was supposed to be for 30 minutes, but what happened was somewhere in the 23rd minute mark, the recording started getting messed up, so I decided to cut the end of that podcast. But that's why you see a shorter podcast in the last podcast. So I have a lot of ideas, man. I have so many ideas of what to do with this podcast that we're building here. But in terms of the trading, all I really need to do is just keep on posting solid wins and just basically passing the accounts for next week. If I pass those accounts, I'm gonna be golden, you know. I'm also gonna attempt to try to fund another 5 accounts there and see how that pans out, because you could have a maximum of 20 accounts, and those 20 accounts are gonna be my ticket to freedom. Obviously, I have to be profitable and I have to be consistent, so that still remains to be seen. But the way I look at it is like this: I put in so much years of effort in attempting to become profitable. I recorded my trades. I've done everything that I needed to do, and I feel like I have, you know, the experience to make this work. So yeah, it remains to be seen, obviously, but I'm really confident that everything's going to work out in the end. But it's not an easy game. There's a reason why over 95% of the people fail. But as long as I get my mind right, everything should be fine. I also got a heart monitor. It's like a relatively cheap heart monitor. What I plan on doing is there's an app that allows me to show my heart rate on the desktop, so you could see how my heart rate shoots up when I'm inside a trade. and it's gonna be a nice little experiment that I do. So yeah, it's good. I don't see any other traders really doing that. I initially got that idea from a dude that broke a world record. So basically, he was doing a CP, because I love watching speed demos. Basically, you know, retro games that people try to beat in the fastest time possible. And then there was this dude that put his heart rate on the desktop computer, and when he was about to beat it, his heart rate was revving so high that it was absolutely an amazing thing to see, actually. And then I haven't, and that was a while ago too. And then I was thinking, hey, that's something that I should probably add to my my recordings, because that's gonna add an element that a lot of people generally don't share. And so I'm gonna be probably the first trader that shows your heart rate when they're in a position. Yeah, it's gonna be a nice little experiment that I do while trading. But wow, there's a lot of people today, and a lot of people. It's not too windy. It's 60 some degrees. It's like the best. This is what the type of weather that you want. This is actually what I pray for, like this type of specific weather. For those of you in Cali, man, I envy you guys, because this weather, if you guys get this consistently, this is like the best ever. But yeah, normally I would walk. Today's a Sunday, so normally I would walk during the weekdays when everyone's either working or at school. But because this is a weekend and the weather's so nice, there's so many people at the park. It's ridiculous. So yeah, man, gotta keep this one. I could still stick to 30 minutes, only because I have to keep you guys updated. I had 2 podcasts that weren't uploadable. I mean, I could have uploaded, but you guys would have a tough time listening to those audio clips, because the quality was super bad. As soon as I put my phone into the fanny pack, it just wasn't picking up my voice. It was as if it was recording far away from my voice. And so yeah, there had to be there was no way I would have uploaded those 2 recordings there for both today and yesterday's recording. But I'm just really glad that I'm deciding to do another recording again. I wasn't willing to not go outside today because of the weather. I mean, it's been so long since we had this beautiful of a weather. I refuse to stay indoors in a day like today. Right now, there's like a little couple of kids riding a little car there. So I'm gonna zoom past through. And one second here. Yeah, there's a lot of people walking along. What I'm wearing right now is I'm wearing a barefoot sneakers. So what it is it's basically thin soles, and when you walk in the floor, you could pretty much feel anything. It's as if you're walking barefoot. And this is what I'm gonna be wearing the vast majority of the time when I walk, because it's really good for training your foot. You know, because back in the days, we didn't have the comforts of regular sneakers that we do now. And we lost the ability to kind of use our feet to essentially feel the ground type of stuff. And hopefully if this podcast blows up somehow, either Lurch and Fuji's podcast or any other podcast that we tend to do, hopefully we could get them as a sponsor, because I'm truly an advocate of barefoot shoes. It's truly beneficial in every aspect. Because you know the song, the knee bones connected to that song. So like the feet is where everything starts from, and so yeah. All right, I'm gonna slow down the pace now that I passed by a whole group of people here. Just really happy that I'm really thankful that I have the ability to walk like this and have the opportunity to feel what nature has to give in terms of the sunlight, because the sunlight, I'm gonna get a nice little suntan, it looks like, after this walk. This is my second walk, so it's gonna be a little bit tanned up here. Man. But yeah, man, I'm just really excited for what's to come with the podcast in terms of my entrepreneurial journey. I've been kind of, I know the other recording, I mentioned that like I kind of unfollowed a lot of people on my Twitter account, formerly, or X account, formerly known as Twitter. And I kind of tailored the followers more, like I followed more people more in the trading and entrepreneurial space, because that's where I'm focusing on right now. Before, I was focusing on a lot of data analytics, data engineering, software engineering type of content, but because I decided to shift away from it into entrepreneurial and trading, that's the type of content that I kind of was curating with my X or my Twitter feed, you know. And yeah, I try to keep it under 100 follows, because anything more than that, it gets a little bit too hectic in my opinion. And so, yeah. Whew, I'm sweating all over the place, and this is with me wearing a t-shirt. Absolutely sweating non-stop. So now I'm gonna play around with editing. I got like a software. It's basically a free software that allowed me to cut the other podcasts, but now I'm gonna experiment with putting different pictures, maybe putting like a caption, you know, for the podcast, so it shows like the words coming out every time I speak. We'll see. But I'm still gonna program, still gonna try to create some basically that note app. So basically what I started working on is a note app that I want to develop, because I used to have Evernote, decided to cancel it, didn't find it useful. I mean, I found it useful, but I don't feel like paying money for it. And I was like, you know what, let me create one myself. And so, oh nice, I hit 20. Oh no, I thought I hit 20k. My Fitbit was like ringing like crazy here. Yeah, I thought I hit 20k, but I'm almost there. Ooh. I'm just trying to figure out what to do after this walk. Most likely gonna consume more content. Most likely gonna consume more like entrepreneurial type of content. I'm gonna have to look at more like YouTube videos on how to get more engagement, how to, you know, basically tips on how to keep engagement. So yeah, I might as well just be at least somewhat productive during my off time. Yeah, I was also listening to this other content of how 9-to-5 job, obviously these days, isn't really safe. And I would have to agree. You know, a lot of people are losing their jobs, even though it's not being reflected on the unemployment rate. But I know for a fact that I know a lot of people are losing their jobs, and it's tough to enter into the market right now too. So I also figured this would be a perfect opportunity to give entrepreneur a shot, because if it succeeds, it's going to be all worth it in the end. The risk, all worth it. And that creator that was mentioning about having multiple incomes made a great point, where if you have a job and you lose it, you go from an income that you were definitely familiar with, that comes in every time, straight down to zero, while if you have, let's say, a YouTube account or any other business that generates passive income, it's not going to fluctuate that drastically. You know what I'm saying? You'll still have revenue coming in. It may dip, but that's also going to train you to kind of not basically spend above your means. I kind of learned that earlier when I had other jobs, because I knew that having a job was never going to be safe. So I always lived way below my means, and now and you know, save money for a rainy day. So it's actually, that decision gave me the opportunity to take on this risk. And I don't see it as like a blind risk type of thing. It's more of a calculated risk, because I know what the chances are. It's definitely, anything that you decide to do, whatever endeavor, there's a high likelihood of failure. But if you end up winning based on the experiences that you've gained over the years, the risk is gonna be kind of worth it, in my opinion. Look at this. Oh, the sun. Love it. I spoke to my brother yesterday. He texted me and we had a nice little text chat. Dude's ripped to the bones now, and it's kind of motivating me to be ripped to the bones. I can't wait to meet up with him, because I haven't seen him in a minute. I want to just see what he's been up to eventually. Just really glad that we had that little chit chat over text. But yeah, so tomorrow is going to be the start of a new week. I'm actually looking forward to it, because at least I could do something. I could really do something in terms of the market. When the market opens, I could do a couple of tricks, a couple of things. What else is there? Oh yeah, I bought a new book too. After listening to a podcast with Dan Koh and this other entrepreneur, but it wasn't Dan Koh that recommended that book. It was more like this other entrepreneur. I think his name is Matt Gray, and he mentioned Ikigai, which essentially is a Japanese term for like a balanced life type of thing. And I always wanted to buy that book. I just decided, you know, I never did. And after listening to that podcast, I decided, you know what? I'm almost done with one of the other books that I'm currently reading. I might as well just buy it. And I just ended up buying it. And it should arrive by tomorrow. But, yeah, so basically, if there's one thing I'm going to spend money on, it's definitely going to be on books. That's the one thing that I believe is a good investment. I prefer to buy the actual book itself, not in Kindle, only because I like holding on to a book and reading it that way. Even though it'll take up some space, it's all good. I'm more of a minimalist these days. I'm trying to get rid of stuff, because I realize with the technology that we have today, we don't need much items, you know. There's really nothing. There's only a few things that I really truly need, and everything else is just taking up space. So I'm little by little trying to get rid of stuff that has no meaning to me and just is taking up space. And so, yeah, but books are the one item where I don't mind holding on to. You know, I'm not like an extreme minimalist. Still want to look at books. There's a lot of people around today. A lot. The summers in New York, though, are kind of horrible. The humidity is what kills it, but spring and fall are like the two best, in my opinion, weathers or the seasons in New York, especially between spring and summer. That area is like the best. Everyone comes out, and I am really, really, really looking forward to it. But yeah, in the next rendition of this podcast, I'm going to cut it to 15 minutes because there's really nothing much more else to say. You know, like even during this podcast, even though I've done it for, you know, I've recorded on Saturday and Sunday, there wasn't really much more to add. And even in this podcast, I had to think of content to just speak about. And yeah, so we're gonna limit it down to 15 minutes. I think that should be sufficient. Nice little bite-sized chunk of content. Now that I'm gonna speak on the phone like this instead of using a lapel mic, and I know there's not gonna be any issues, yeah, I'm gonna even do it through the rain, because I've noticed that it's probably the rain that kind of screwed up my lapel mic type of thing. That's what I initially thought. But then when I went today, which is a really beautiful day, it didn't work still. So I mean, it is what it is. Street motorcycles just passed by. I can see why a lot of people don't do podcasts walking outside unless it's like a really quiet area. Today was definitely not one of those days where it was gonna be quiet, because it's almost sinful if you're staying indoors in a day like this. Absolutely, like, sinful. Oh boy. I love nature. I love the sun. So when I go back to the apartment, it's gonna be around almost close to 3:30ish, 4 o'clock, and I'm most likely gonna continue programming potentially to quickly build that Node app, and then see where I could take that app to. And if I find it to be extremely good on my end, I may decide to kind of like give it out to people and just like put advertisements on it, and then just find some way to monetize it. Yeah, that's the plan. I kind of have to become creative in a situation like this, and basically use the skills that I've gotten from from programming. You know, I feel like it's a waste if I don't utilize those skills at all, and start implementing and just building something. But yeah, so look for shorter podcasts. Like I said, at the end of the day, this is mainly for myself, because I wanna know how I'm speaking. Because sometimes I just spit out stuff and it doesn't make any sense. So I gotta find ways to kind of be better. And the only way to do that is by speaking and adjusting, just like I do in trading. Got less than 30 seconds away, and gonna end this podcast real soon here once it rings. I really have absolutely nothing much more to add at this point in time. Hopefully I could bring you guys some good news when I trade tomorrow. But other than that, it looks like the countdown has ended. Thank you so much for listening, and stay tuned for the next episode of While We Walk.